not going to give all of this up now. Mac, has Sandy come downstairs yet?
Oh, he's already left for work. He wanted to be driven in early today.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed him.
Well, perhaps it's just as well. I wanted to talk to you privately anyway.
Oh, something the matter?
I'm hoping maybe you'll be able to tell me that. I had a talk with Sandy last night. He told me something that I find very disturbing.
Oh, what?
Well, you know, with Jamie due out of the hospital soon.
But we don't know when that's going to be, exactly.
No, but he will be coming home soon, and, well, according to what Sandy intimated, that's in some way frightening to you. Is that true, Cecile?
Yes, Mac, it is. I don't want to be afraid of my husband. I should just be grateful that he's all right and he's coming home, but I can't help it. I am afraid. But, Mac, I don't want to draw you into this. This is something between Jamie and me.
Well, if you say so, but if there is something troubling you, and if you would like to try to talk about it, I'd certainly like to help.
But you have to go to work. I mean, you have such a busy schedule today.
No. When someone in the family needs me, I'm never too busy.
Well, I guess what I'm most afraid of, Mac, is that after all Jamie and I have been through, after all that's happened...
Yes? What?
After everything that Jamie has done, Mac, I just don't know if he loves me anymore.
Hello?
Ilsa, it's Lenny.
Oh, Lenny, darling, how good of you to call. I hope you have some news for me.
I think I have some very good news. We've got a line on Alexander.
Marvelous.
Yeah, but he's living pretty high these days. He's staying at the estate of some tycoon named Mac Corey.
How interesting.
And that's not all. He's got a bodyguard around him 24 hours a day around the clock. This job's going to be a lot tougher than we thought.
Well, nobody promised you it would be easy. Besides which, you like the challenge. Tell me, have you gotten in touch with Jason Dunlap yet?
No, not yet.
We'll do so soon. He owes me. And you know how much I loathe outstanding debts. I want to be sure to collect from him now and with interest.
I understand, Ilsa. I'll contact Dunlap soon, but I got to be careful. I think the cops are keeping an eye on him.
Well, get to him. But be extremely alert. The last thing we need are a lot of cops on us.
I will. Any change in plans?
No, nothing at all. Just proceed as I instructed you. I want Sandy Alexander dead. And I want it to be a very unpleasant death. Do you understand me, darling? A most unpleasant death.
Brian, I'm still not sure what you were trying to prove by putting Zachary Colton on the stand.
I have good reasons for what I've done, Blaine.
I don't doubt that. Thank you. I just don't see how it's going to help my case at all.
Look, I can understand your confusion, but we have to be very careful how we proceed now. The next couple of days could be crucial to our defense.
I'm afraid the jury's already reached their verdict about me.
Oh, now don't say that, Blaine. Don't even think it. I'm very optimistic about our chances.
But, Brian, I've admitted to shooting Jordan, and we know that he bled to death. I really don't think the jury cares about what medicine was in his system or Zachary Colton's medical history, for that matter. All they care about is that Jordan was shot, and I was the one that did it.
You have to have patience, Blaine.
Oh, Brian, I am trying. I just don't see how Zachary's testimony was as important as you seem to think it was.
I don't want you to get depressed over this, because it's coming right along. Now, you let me worry about our trial from now on. That's what you have a defense attorney for. Now, from now on, I want you to relax and just have faith that we are going to win this case. So just have faith.
All right. I will.
It's a good girl.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
But why do you feel that he doesn't love you?
Oh, Mac, it's just so hard for me. Jamie's your son. I don't feel right saying anything against him to you.
Cecile, nothing you could say would change how I feel about Jamie. And if there is something seriously troubling you, it might just help if you'd open up to someone about it.
Oh, well, it all goes back to the time Jamie started taking pills. His whole personality changed. He used to be so kind and sensitive. But when the pressure got to be too much for him and he used drugs to cope, he turned into this person I didn't know anymore. He started complaining all the time that I wasn't home enough and I wasn't with him enough. That was just the beginning. He would get so angry at me all the time for no reason at all. And he'd hit me.
Well, as you said, his whole personality was altered by those drugs.
Knowing that didn't make it any easier to live with him. The nights became unbearable. When I didn't want to make love, he forced himself on me. Mac, it was horrible. He was always so tender and loving. And he would just throw me down and treat me like... He raped me.
Cecile, he's going to be better now. You know, he was able, all by himself, to stop using those drugs when he saw what he was doing to you. And now I know when he gets out of the hospital, he's going to work very hard to put your marriage back together.
Mac, I don't know if he wants that anymore.
He does, Cecile. I know he does.
When he was getting better the last time, I hoped that we could start again. I was just dreaming. By that time, his mind and heart was already with someone else.
Who are you talking about?
Marianne Holloway.
But Cecile, Jamie and Marianne have been friends since childhood. They were all friends together. Marianne and Michael and Dennis. Jamie, they used to spend hours together with each other.
No, I think that they became more than just friends, especially when Marianne moved back to Bay City.
But Jamie married you, and Marianne is married to Rick. And I know now that he wants his marriage to last. Give him a chance to prove it.
Mac, I want that too. But it's just that this time, Jamie has had a total breakdown, and I just don't know how to help him.
Well, I think the best thing you could do would be to let him understand that you know what he's been through, and above all, let him know that you still love him. You do love him, don't you?
Oh, yes. I love him more than ever. And I'd do anything for him, Mac. I promised him, and I assure you, too, that Sandy and I will continue to cover for Jamie, so that when he comes back to work, Bravo will be the magazine that it always was.
Your support will mean more to him than all the doctors can do for him.
Oh, Mac, I just pray that my love and support will be enough to see him through this.
Captain Petroni, I would like to have Zachary Colton put under surveillance.
You want us to tail the district attorney?
Yes, I do.
We have our reasons, Captain.
Well, they better be good ones, because this is some favor you're asking.
I know it, Captain. But it could be vital to Blaine's case.
I mean, it can be done, can it?
Sure, but it's risky.
I mean, if Blaine's case is involved here, we don't have any choice.
Larry, there are other things to think about. What if you both are wrong? And we get caught following Colton?
Well, we just got to take that chance. Come on, Captain. I mean, if it fails, I'll take the fall. You can tell him that I was acting on my own, whatever.
No, Larry. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right.
Does that mean you'll do it?
Yes, Mr. Bancroft. That's what it means.
Thanks a lot, Captain.
Well, there's nothing to thank me for yet, Larry. Let's wait until see what this surveillance of yours turns up.
How you feeling, Jamie?
I feel great. I really do.
Good. But you were in pretty bad shape, you know, when they brought you in here.
Yeah, I know. Or at least that's what I was told.
Oh, it's true. Yes, you were a very sick young man.
Russ, I want to thank you for all you've done.
Let me tell you why I asked you to come in here, Jamie. I want a chance to talk to you before you're officially released.
Don't tell me you're having second thoughts about letting me go home.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I am.
But I'm okay now. I mean, I feel fine.
Do you?
Yes. I'm going to be okay now.
Jamie, when you were brought in here, your system was loaded with a very dangerous combination of chemical substances. You went into convulsion twice the first night.
I don't remember any of it.
The detoxification process took a lot longer than I anticipated. But that isn't really what I wanted to talk to you about.
What is it then?
When you were brought in, you insisted that you had not taken any drugs. Now, our tests proved otherwise.
Well, I still don't think I did.
You don't think? Jamie, I can show you the results of the tests.
Russ, I'm sure I was clean. I'm positive I didn't take anything. But maybe I just don't remember.
You really think that that's possible, Jamie?
I don't know. Either I wasn't taking anything and I don't know how I got them, or I was taking something and I just don't remember doing it.
Or you did take something and some other circumstances made you unaware of it.
Russ, I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not crazy.
No, Jamie, I am not implying that you are. No, I don't think you've had a mental breakdown of any kind, but you have been living under an awful lot of stress for some time now. Now, living under that kind of pressure obviously is unhealthy. Prolonged periods of pressure have an adverse effect on people.
I know, but I thought I was coping with it.
Yes, well, quite often we all need help coping with that sort of thing. Now, that's why I recommended that you see Dr. Doris Wagner. I think that she can come up with some answers to the questions that we both have.
Russ, I don't understand a lot of what's happened to me lately. Maybe I can't or don't want to remember some things. I'm afraid of that. So, if you think continuing to see Dr. Wagner will help, I'll do it.
Well, I think that it will, Jamie, yes.
You still have some pretty strong feelings about Jerry, don't you?
Well, I'll always have feelings for Jerry. He was a big part of my life.
That's not what I meant.
Clarice, look at what I did to Jerry. I tried so hard to protect him, and I ended up by ruining his life.
Blaine, you didn't ruin his life.
Well, I came pretty close. I mean, even his relationship with Kit I destroyed. I depended on him so much to help me out with my problems, he never had any time left for her.
Jerry wanted to help you, Blaine.
I know he did. But I shouldn't have let him get so involved. When I think of everything that Larry and Jerry have done for me, and the way I repay them is by hurting them by what I've done. And then on top of it, I don't even have the decency to tell them about it before I testify.
They know that it was hard for you, too, Blaine.
Clarice, believe me, it was much worse for them to find out the truth that way. But I've promised myself something. I'm never going to hurt anybody like that again. There's only one way I can do that. That's by not letting anyone get close to me again. Not ever again.
Your Honor, I believe that Brian Bancroft has ulterior reasons for wanting to prolong this trial.
And what do you think they would be?
Well, you see, the publicity that is surrounding this trial has just been incredible, and I think that Mr. Bancroft has appeared in a favorable light from time to time. People tend to see him as a kind of shining knight trying to defend this poor, pitiful Blaine Ewing.
Then you resent his image?
No, absolutely not, Your Honor, but I do resent his using this trial as a springboard.
Springboard to what, Mr. Coleman?
Well, as you know, Blaine Ewing admits to shooting Jordan's car. That's one of the most direct cases that I have ever had to present. So why is Mr. Bancroft now deliberately trying to cloud the jury's thinking and to sensationalize his defense by putting me on the witness stand? I'll tell you why. I think that Mr. Bancroft is trying to make me look like a fool in order to fuel his own political ambitions. I believe that Brian Bancroft pictures himself as the next mayor of Bay City and is simply using this trial as some kind of forum in order to win those votes.
I find that hard to believe, Mr. Colton.
Well, it seems apparent to me, Your Honor. I mean, why else would he take this simple case of a woman discarding her lover and turn it into this endless series of delays and pointless questions being asked with no answers coming?
I released Jamie Frame this morning. I'm just beginning to have second thoughts about it.
Why?
I spoke to Cecile while Jamie was in here. She told me a bit about his behavior over the past few months.
Well, that was because of the drugs.
Yes, I'm sure that some of it can be attributed to the drugs. I'm just not sure that I made the right decision. I don't know. Perhaps I should have moved for limited confinement.
You mean you want to keep him in the hospital psychiatric unit?
Yes. Yeah. For an observation period, maybe 30 days.
I don't think that's necessary, Russ. I mean, well, his recovery did take a little longer than we expected, but it was uncomplicated. And I'm sure he wants to get his life back together now. We should give him that chance, don't you think?
Yes, we should. I mean, I want him to get his life together, too, when he's ready for it.
But when people take drugs, they sometimes do things that make them appear to be mentally unstable, but it's just because of the drugs. Once they get the stuff washed out of their system completely, they return to normal. Jamie, if we give him time, he'll be fine. I know it.
All right. Let's say that I agree with everything that you said. I'm still going to keep a very close watch on him. And I don't want to be responsible for that boy having a complete mental collapse.
Oh, great. Hey, can you give me that ratchet over there?
Sure. Here you go. Look, how come you were so late coming back from your meeting?
Well, I was, sorry I got in here late, Jerry.
No, hey, that's all right. That's no problem. I just thought maybe something was wrong.
No, Brian and Capt Petroni wanted to go over a few things. So we just took a little longer than we thought we would.
Was there anything important?
Yeah, I'm just not real sure what it is yet.
Look, I read in the paper that Brian had called Colton as a witness.
Yeah, that's right.
Yo, the article was pretty vague. What's Brian after?
Well, he's got something. I think it's going to turn this whole case around.
Well, how?
Well, I'm not real sure, Jerry.
Look, it's all right. I know you can't confide in me since I'm off the case.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's no problem.
You seen Blaine at all?
No.
I think you should.
Look, what for? I mean, we have nothing to say to each other now.
I think you ought to give her a chance to explain, Jerry.
Look, there is nothing to explain. It was all pretty clear in court.
Look, you know, I think the sooner you two talk, the better things are going to be.
No, Larry, it has gone way past that now. Now, there's no going back for me and Blaine.
You can't be sure about that.
Now, yeah, I can be. But Blaine used me. The only reason that we got married was for the information that I could give her. Now, I'm never going to put myself in that position again, not to be hurt by her.
Well, we don't always have that choice.
Well, I think we do, and I've made my choice.
Listen, Melissa. I've been doing some thinking about some things, and I want you to be very careful.
I am always careful. Sorry. What's got you so worried?
Well, that should be obvious, Melissa, considering what you told me about Jason's part in Tracy's death.
Maybe I just shouldn't have told you.
No, I think you did the right thing in telling me, but I'll tell you, Melissa, I just don't like you being so close to this guy. You shouldn't trust him.
But I told you that Ilsa just put the screws to him. I mean, you know how she operates. Jason tried to cancel the hit. It was just too late.
Look, he still tried to wipe somebody out, Melissa. I mean, he set the whole thing up.
Yeah, but he changed his mind.
Man, I don't care. A very special lady died because of him. Now, look, he may have tried to get out of it, but Tracy was killed in that car. I don't see how you can defend this guy.
Jason has always tried to protect me, Sandy.
Yeah, I hear you, but, tell me, Melissa, what happens the next time Ilsa decides to put the screws to him? I mean, does he, still protect you, or does he try and save his own skin?
I trust him. I really do. I trust him.
I still want you to be careful, Ilsa. Because we both know how persuasive our dear Ilsa can be.
Hello, Connection.
Melissa, how good to hear your voice. It's been so long.
Ilsa.
That's right, darling. I hope you haven't forgotten. I'm calling about a mutual friend of ours.
Really? Well, who?
Sandy Alexander. Do you see him much anymore?
Oh, well, you know, I see him here and there around. Not really very much.
Oh, what a shame. You two were so close in Las Vegas. Oh, which makes me think that, I've been thinking of bringing you back into the fold.
Well, you know, I'm working here
Is
now.
Jason there, darling? He's the one I called to speak to.
Yeah, sure. Just a second. I'll get him. Jason.
Yeah.
It's a telephone call.
Okay.
Jason. It's Ilsa.
Oh, no. Thanks, babe. Hello, Ilsa.
Well, Jason, you don't sound very pleased to hear from me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just a little busy right now.
Then I'll be direct. My associates have arrived in Bay City, and I've instructed them to contact you. You should be hearing from them very shortly. I am calling now just to make sure that you will cooperate with them. You will now, won't you? I don't hear an answer from you, Jason, and I don't like my questions to be ignored. Will you cooperate with them?
Yes, Ilsa, I will.
Wonderful. I knew I could count on you, darling. I'll be in touch. Do take care.
I was hoping I might be able to see Jamie.
Well, Jamie was released earlier today, Mac.
Released? I didn't know he was going home today.
Yes, he did. You know, I did, however, have a chance to talk with him before he left.
How is he, Russ?
Well, his body is cleared of all the drugs now, and he seems to be willing to do whatever is necessary to keep it that way.
Good. I can tell you it's quite a relief.
Then he is going to continue to see the psychiatrist.
I want him to do whatever is necessary, so long as he gets well. Rachel and I are determined to see him through this. He's going to take some time off from work. I think he needs a rest.
Well, that's fine as far as it goes. But you see, I think that Jamie should go back to work. Well, not full-time yet, perhaps. But he should be able to handle some of his responsibilities. See, he seems to enjoy his work a lot, and I think it will give him the positive self-image that he needs.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, perhaps you're right about that. Well, I'm ready for him to come back any time that he feels he's ready. Russ, is he really all right now?
Mac, I know how concerned you are. Now, for my own peace of mind, I am going to keep a very close watch on him. But right now, I'm confident that Jamie is going to pull himself together, physically and emotionally.
Wonderful. Sure makes me feel better.
However, there's one thing that still bothers me.
What's that?
Jamie still insists that he did not take any drugs on the night he collapsed. Now, that's in spite of the fact that his body was loaded with drugs. See, I don't know if he's trying to fool himself or if he really believes that.
So, what are you telling me?
Well, if he does really believe that he didn't take anything, then I would have to say that there is something still seriously wrong. And I'm worried about it. I'm very worried. Yes, come in.
Russ. Oh, I'm not disturbing you, am I?
No, come on in. This seems to be my day for visitors. You're not, by any chance, here on official hospital business, are you?
Well, sort of.
All right. Come on, sit down. Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, I was wondering how Jamie Frame was doing.
An awful lot of people are worried about that boy.
Well, I know he's been discharged.
Yes, he has, yes. Health was excellent when he left. His attitude seemed bent on keeping it that way.
That's very good news.
Why all of this interest in Jamie?
Well, it's not so unusual, Russ. I mean, after all, Stephen was Jamie's father.
Yeah, you see, and I thought it had something to do with Mac Corey.
Well, Mac has been concerned about Jamie.
And you have been concerned about Mac.
Yes, I have.
How much have you two been seeing of each other?
Well, we've gone out a couple of times. We enjoy each other's company. Actually, we've seen each other through some very rough times recently. Please don't say you disapprove.
No. Of course I don't disapprove. No, I'm all for it. I think it's marvelous. Two such nice people getting together.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about the years I spent on the police force.
Well, you still are the best partner I ever had.
Thanks, Larry. You know, I think it was the partnership that meant so much to me.
Sometimes I wish I was still a street cop. I mean, in a homicide, they give me a bad situation, I have to go in there and put the pieces together, tell them what happened.
I guess that can be pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, if I was on the streets, at least I might be able to prevent it from happening.
Yeah, I know. You know, when your work is the only thing that you've got going in your life, it can be really hard if you don't get some positive feedback.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get any positive feedback from this car if I don't get to work on it.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me that screwdriver over there?
Oh, the big one, huh?
Yeah.
You got it?
Hey, Denny.
Hey, Larry. Terry.
Hi.
Looks like you two are pretty busy out here.
I'm trying to get this old thing to work. That job of yours has some pretty loose hours.
Yeah, they're pretty flexible. Hey, Larry, you been able to find out anything about Blackhawk for me?
No, I really haven't had a whole lot of time.
Blackhawk. What's that? I've heard that name somewhere.
Well, the full name is the Blackhawk Project. It's where I work.
Yeah, well, they're into shipping and something.
Yeah, a little bit of that and a lot of other stuff, but I'm just not quite sure what they do. That's why I asked Larry if he could check out for me.
You mean you work there and you're not exactly sure what they do?
That's right.
Yeah, well, maybe I should apply for a job there. A little mystery, never hurt anybody.
Why are you looking for a job?
Well, I left my position with Brian Bancroft.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. If they expand the legal division, I'll give you a call.
Well, thanks anyway, Denny, but I really wasn't serious. Look, I don't think I'm going to be going back into law. I might rejoin the police force or something along that line.
You're kidding, right?
No, I've been thinking very seriously about it.
I can't believe you'd make a move like that, especially when you've come so far. You know how hard it is to get that degree. How could you throw it all away by going back to being just a cop?
I think you better cool it, Denny.
Oh, no, Larry. I think you better talk to your friend here. He's about to make the most irresponsible and stupid decision of his life.
Larry, I better be getting going.
Thanks for giving me a hand, Jerry.
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing? Where do you get off coming down on Jerry?
Oh, Mac. I'm glad you stopped by. I found those circulation reports that you wanted.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right. Hey, you all right?
I just came from seeing Russ Matthews.
About Jamie?
Early this morning, I had a talk with Cecile. She told me what it's been like living with him these past months. I just never dreamed those drugs could be affecting him so terribly.
Well, what did Dr. Matthews say?
Well, he thinks that Jamie's going to be all right. Jamie's body is now rid of the drugs, and he seems to be willing to do whatever he has to do to make sure that he stays strong and healthy.
Well, good. I'm glad.
On the other hand, Russ is very concerned about Jamie's contention that he didn't take any drugs. He says that if Jamie doesn't remember taking the drugs, or if he's lying to himself and he believes his own lie, then that's a symptom of something much, much worse. I just don't know what to do. I want to help Jamie so much, and I don't know what to do.
Well, maybe you should just go to him and tell him that. Let him know how you feel.
Well, I don't want to put any more pressure on him right now, upset him.
I don't think Jamie's going to see that as pressure. Look, Mac, it's obvious that you're pretty upset right now. I think you'd feel a whole lot better if you just go and see him and talk to him. I'd be willing to bet that you're the one person in the world Jamie'd like to see right now.
Think so? I'll go see him. Thank you, Sandy.
Mac, you know, Jamie he's important to me, too. I remember once we confided in each other how we both wanted a brother when we were growing up. Jamie even said that he invented one. Well, once we got to know each other, we became kind of close, you know, and... See, Mac, Jamie doesn't know it, and I don't think he should right now, but he's my stepbrother, and I really care about him. I want to do whatever I can to help him right now.
Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. Jamie and I are very lucky to have you as a part of our family. I hope it won't be too long before you're willing to tell other people who you are and how much you mean to me. Thank you, sir.
Ilsa phoned the connection. I overheard a conversation she had with Jason. She told him that her thugs are here in town. And you know exactly who those people are. Those are the guys they sent to get you.
I was kind of afraid that was going to happen.
Sandy, You have got to try and buy your way out this time.
We've already talked about that, Melissa.
I know, but I think that your life is worth a lot more than $100,000. Don't you?
Oh, with inflation, maybe.
Oh, come on. How can you joke around like that?
Look, Melissa, even if I do come up with the money, there's no guarantee that Ilsa's going to take it. I mean, after everything I've done and all the trouble I've caused her, the only thing Ilsa wants is me, dead.
Talk to her. See what she says.
I don't know, Melissa.
Sandy, please. Please, just try it. If you don't, then she's going to make sure that you pay for everything you ever did to her. And the only price that she's going to take is your life.
Who have you got there, Louise?
Oh, it's your Eurydice. I'm afraid she's not feeling too well. I think she needs a little more sun, so I'll put her out on the terrace.
Sounds like a good idea.
Mr. Corey, do you have a moment?
Yes, of course, Louise.
I tried calling Jamie at the hospital this morning, but they told me he'd been released.
That's right.
And then I tried him at the penthouse, and there was no answer.
Oh, well, you shouldn't worry. You probably just called while he was in transit. He's fine. As a matter of fact, I'm going over to the penthouse to see him now.
I'm glad. I was a little upset when I couldn't reach him. Mr. Corey, is there anything I can do?
You're doing too much already, Louise. Running this house, helping me with Amanda.
But I love taking care of him.
Yes, I know you do. Believe me. But it's enough that you're just here with me and Amanda. I don't know what we'd do without you. Oh, but there is one little thing. I'm going to try to convince Jamie to come back here to recuperate when he comes out of the hospital. And I thought maybe you might see if his room is ready for him.
Sandy's been staying in Jamie's old room.
Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot that. Well, perhaps you could prepare the blue room for Jamie?
It might be best, Mr. Corey, to give Jamie his old room and move Sandy into the other one.
Yes, you're probably right. Anyway, I may be jumping the gun. Jamie may not want to come back here. He might prefer that he and Cecile have this time alone together. That might be just what the two of them need.
What do you mean, what was I doing? I just gave the guy my opinion, that's all.
Well, you had a real smooth way of doing it. I mean, who are you to insinuate that being a cop is a second-rate job compared to a lawyer? I don't know, Denny. This is one guy who is a cop who is very proud of what he does for a living.
Look, Larry, I didn't mean to insult Jerry or you for that matter. It just seems strange to me that he'd waste all those years of schooling by taking a step backward.
Well, maybe Jerry and I don't look at it that way.
Oh, come on, Larry. Look at the money he's throwing away if he gives up his practice.
Well, to some folks, the money doesn't mean that much if they enjoy what they're doing.
Can you honestly say that you enjoy barely making a living on a cop salary? Not being able to give your wife and kids some of the nicer things?
Hey, I don't have to take this kind of stuff from you. Just get out of here.
Larry.
Excuse me, Blaine.
Did you hear what that guy said?
Yes.
I mean, putting me down for being a cop and saying that he's wasting his life for going back to the force?
I heard him, Larry. I heard him. Please don't get yourself all upset.
He practically said I couldn't even provide for Clarice and Corey.
Maybe he didn't mean it that way.
I know exactly what it meant. I heard him.
Larry, please. Clarice told me how hard Denny had to work to put himself through law school. Maybe he just can't understand why Jerry would want to go back on the police force.
Well, that still doesn't give him the right to put him down.
You want me to give you an interview highlighting your opinion, your viewpoints of the Blaine Hewing trial?
Well, yes, it's very clear. Now, Mr. Lyons, your paper has never been supportive of me, my office, my tenure as district attorney. Well, need I remind you of Mr. Frame's infamous editorial? And I think it would be appropriate if your paper were now to demonstrate its unbiased outlook by granting me this opportunity to speak to the public.
Yes, well, I don't know, Mr. Colton. It seems highly irregular for me to hear that a DA wants to cover the case before it's even been finished.
Well, be that as it may, your paper is not being fair in reporting this trial, Mr. Lyons.
Now, wait a minute. I defend everything we've printed as being both accurate and unprejudiced.
I'm sure you do, but there is more to this trial than appears on the surface.
Okay, tell me, what does that mean?
Just this. My adversary, Brian Bancroft, is using this trial to advance his own career.
What?
Yeah, I'm afraid it's all too true, Mr. Lyons. Brian Bancroft has his eyes on more than just the outcome of Blaine Ewing's trial.
Now, Colton, you just wait a minute, huh? First of all, I'm not sure that I quite know what you're getting at, but I can promise you that the Daily Ledger will continue covering this trial as impartially as it has before. And as editor, it is my responsibility to see that it remains both neutral and unbiased in its reporting.
Welcome home, James.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another World.